How's everybody doing today? Before I get started, I want to ask you to please hit that subscribe button, the like button, that notification bell. That would really help me out to get this channel off the ground. And to my subscribers, I would like to ask you a really big favor. Um, Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what it is that you would like to hear about, like what kind of topics you would like me to cover. I want to do things that is pleasing to my subscribers. Okay, this is your guys' channel. I'm just a facilitator, and I'd really appreciate your input. Whatever it is, just give it to me and see what I can do with it. I'll cover topics that I can cover. There's some topics that I can't, some topics that I won't. But for the most part, I could cover a lot of different topics concerning different things that you may be very interested in. So if you can, please leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you. Now, today I'm going to make this video about prison riots, okay? A lot of people already know that there's a rule in place in all the prisons that whenever there's a problem with another race and something jumps off in the prison yard, if your race is involved, you need to get involved and get up and do what you got to do. And if you don't, after everything's said and done, chances are you're going to get disciplined or removed from the yard. It's very critical that you get up and you do your thing when things jump off. Now, in 2005, there was a riot with the blacks. And I'm going to explain a little bit how it took place so that way you get an idea how a prison yard jumps off. In this case, it's pretty much how it happens all the time. Now, there was tension in the yard already between the Mexicans and the black population. And what happened was, during feeding at dinner time, there was an incident in front of 5 Block. Now, the way they release dinner, chow, they release one building at a time. And you have one building walking around the track, going to go eat. And usually you have another building coming out of the chow hall, going back to their cell block. And you have some inmates inside eating still. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of people out of their cells. And from what happened, I could only believe that the blacks were not prepared for this to jump off the way it did. It wasn't planned. But the Hispanics were ready. There was tension, and they're always ready for something, And I think for this reason, among others, the blacks got the very short end of the stick on this one. But anyways, the way it started was, as people were moving to and from the chow hall, 2 guys started to fight in front of 5 Block. Most people thought that it was 2 African men fighting, 2 black men fighting, because both inmates were dark, very dark skinned. But one of the inmates, a friend of mine, Malo from Arizona, he knew the guy that was fighting. So he took flight right away. At that point, the other inmates coming up on the incident could see that he was involved, and then noticed who the other dark-skinned guy was, and it was Hispanics. Even though Malo's very light-skinned, you couldn't mistake him for a white guy. But everybody figured it out, what was going down, who was between. More blacks jumped in. By the time you knew it, everybody that was on the track was fighting. So a lot of people that were coming out of the building on my block ran back in and let everybody know that was on the floor of the building and coming out of their cells that it was on with the blacks outside, right? So inside my building, everybody started doing their thing. The people in the chow hall heard, whether it was people going into the chow hall told them, or however they found out in the chow hall, but the whole chow hall erupted. So now you got the chow hall The entire track, which is on the yard, goes around the whole yard. 5 block, 4 block, and 3 block, all engaged. It just spread from the yard. Guys ran back into their buildings in 4 and 3 and let everybody know what was happening. The whole yard was doing their thing. The only ones that weren't involved were the guys that were in 1 and 2 block. They hadn't been released yet. So the alarm goes off. Now, there wasn't enough COs to cover that much things happening, that many buildings, to run to each building, handle the yard, handle the chow hall. And to top it off, people are in the gym looking out the window. They see what's going on. So the gym pops off. So now you got the chow hall, the gym, the track, 5 block, 4 block, and 3 block. Everybody going for it, right? So when this happens, the COs put an alarm out for everybody who's free to come and respond to the melee, right? But it takes time. They got to run across different yards, unlock fences, get their gear together and all that. So by the time they even get just to the yard to try to get control of the yard, time's going by and things happen quickly. It doesn't take long to get stabbed 30, 40, 50, 60 times. It's very, very quick. And I believe in my building, it seemed like 15 minutes. It was probably only maybe 5 minutes. Maybe it was that long. I don't know. It was a long time before they finally came walking into our building. And after everything was said and done, the helicopters had a life flight, several black inmates to the hospital. There were several of them that were treated there on the prison yard. It went all bad for the blacks. So when something like this happens, we go on lockdown, okay? Obviously. They're going to do an investigation. And during this time, during their investigation, a lot of times what they do is they remove the shot callers from the yard and send them to different yards or different prisons. And during their investigations, they also, as they're getting people up off the ground, they check them for any blood on their shoes, any marks on their hands, anything they could use as evidence that they were actually involved with an assault. So a lot of people got transferred and taken to the hole for having blood on them, cuts on their hands. So the prison, there was a big turnover on the yard. Okay, a lot of people were taken off the yard. My Sally ended up getting taken off. And I lost my cell because since I was the only one in there, they moved me in with another Hispanic and gave my cell to some blacks because they moved more blacks in my building so that when they opened the yard again, it would be more even, because we were deep in that building. And I'm kind of glad that happened because right next door to me lived 2 black gentlemen, and man, them dudes were like cool, they were good people, and I would have hate for the doors to have cracked open and while we're still having problems for us to do what we had to do to each other, it would have been all bad, because all the time that I was there, they treated me good, I guess one of them was getting weed, and I never asked them for anything, but sometimes a knock will come on my door and a little baggie of weed would come flying from underneath the door, and I go to the door to see who it was. It was my neighbor, and I don't smoke. I don't like that, but I traded for store, So it was an asset, and I appreciated that he was giving it to me, especially without me asking. And we had short conversations on the tier, waiting for our doors to be opened when they were putting us back on our cells. So they were good people, They blew out their electricity one day, and they asked me if I could connect an extension cord to my electricity and help them out. And I did. They were. I would have hate to have had to stab them, or them to try to stab me. Um, Nothing happened like that. We stood on lockdown until everything got discussed between the people who make the decisions there for the Hispanics and the blacks. So pretty much we were just taking off lockdown, and everything stood peaceful. During that lockdown, some Hispanics were out of their cell taking a shower, and a cell door got popped open where some blacks lived, and they came out of the cell and ran and stabbed some Hispanics that were out showering. So there were incidences that had taken place because of the riot. But for the most part, everything got squashed, and the rest of the time that I was there, everything was peaceful. All the time that I did there, I always get along with blacks and whites and different races. It doesn't matter to me. If somebody show me respect, I respect them. So a lot of times it's a terrible thing. The rules are the rules. You got to do what you got to do, like it or not. And I mentioned in my other videos, prison's a very volatile place. You could just be going to go eat dinner and end up stabbed, or get your head cracked open, or get stomped out in one of these riots. Everybody's going full out. Everybody's trying to survive, or everybody's trying to overcome the enemy. It gets very, very serious. People get killed. I'm sure you've seen some of these incidences that they've been showing in prison lately, and just how bad it could be. Anyways, I just wanted to do this short video, just explaining more or less how things pop up on the yard, how it jumps off, how a whole yard could be engulfed in fighting, and how the deputies could be pretty much uh, with their hands tied. They can't do nothing. They can't even come up on the yard until there's enough of them there at the gate to come in one group. And in the meantime, it's all going down. Tear gas canisters were fired. They tried to shoot me with a block gun. It bounced and hit the staircase. Luckily I didn't get hurt during this riot, and this idiot up in the tower, he missed me. Because those block guns, man, you get hit with that big Bertha, it'll rock your world, man. It'll crack your head, if it hits you in the head. But anyways, just some description of what takes place and what the results could be of a prison riot. I just wanted to make a quick video because I know it's been a while. But one of the main things that I wanted to get out today was I wanted to request my viewers and my subscribers to please leave a comment in what you'd like to hear about, what kind of stories you want to hear. What do you want to know about? And it would help me to develop my content accordingly. So with that, I'm going to end this video. And everybody take care. God bless you. Watch yourself. I mentioned it before. You could lose your freedom in 2 minutes fit of anger. We got to be careful, because you end up in a place like that, especially if you don't belong in a place like that. Things can go real bad for an individual. Anyways, everybody take care. God bless. And I hope to see you in the next video.